"Hey, is this seat taken?" That was the first thing she ever said to me. Her voice was calm but carried a hint of curiosity. I looked up from my schedule, a little startled, and shook my head. "No, go ahead." She smiled, the kind of smile that lingers longer than it should. "Thanks. Orientation days are chaos. I feel like I've already walked 10 miles. I chuckled. You and me both. I've been lost 3 times and it's not even noon yet. She laughed softly, her eyes lighting up. Then maybe we should stick together before we end up in the wrong department. That's how it began, just a shared joke, a smile, and a seat in a crowded hall. But even then, something about her pulled me in. "So, what's your name?" she asked. "Ethan." "Lena," she said, extending her hand. "Nice to meet you, partnering." I took her hand, and for a strange second, everything else faded, the noise, the chatter, the crowd, just her voice, her smile, and that electric stillness between us. Weeks passed, and we became inseparable. I'd find her waiting for me outside lectures, waving her coffee cup like a flag. "You're late again," she teased one morning. "Time is a social construct," I said, catching my breath. "Try telling that to Professor Morris," she laughed, handing me my favorite caramel latte. "You remembered." She shrugged. "You talk too much about coffee. Or maybe you just listen too much." "Maybe," she said quietly, her smile softening. That's when I knew I was in trouble. Ryan noticed first. "You're spending a lot of time with her," he said one evening as we walked back to the dorms. "She's easy to talk to," I replied. "It's different with her." He gave me a look. "Different good, or different dangerous?" I grinned. "Good. Definitely good," Ryan smirked but didn't push. "All right, Romeo, just don't lose yourself trying to impress her." I didn't understand what he meant then. I would later. One night, Lena and I sat on the campus rooftop, legs dangling over the edge, city lights twinkling below. "Do you ever think about the future?" I asked. She looked at me, the wind playing with her hair. "All the time, I just don't know where I fit in it yet." "You'll figure it out," I said. "You always do." She smiled faintly. "You have too much faith in me. That's because you've never let me down." She went quiet. Then softly, "Don't say that, Ethan." "Why not?" "Because people always do," she whispered. Her words lingered like smoke in the air. I didn't ask what she meant. Maybe I was afraid of the answer. By mid-year, she had become my whole world. Texts, calls, late-night talks. "Are you free tonight?" I texted her once. A minute passed, then 2, then an hour. Finally, her reply came. "Sorry, busy with group work, tomorrow maybe." I told myself it was fine, just one missed evening. The next day she was distant, distracted. "You okay?" I asked gently as we sat in the library. She nodded without looking up. "Just tired. Deadlines, you know." "Want to talk about it?" "Not really." Her tone was soft, but something about it stung. Still, I smiled. "All right. But if you need me, I know," she said quickly. That's when I noticed the shift, small, subtle, but real. Ryan caught me staring at my phone one evening, waiting for her text. "You're still waiting for her?" he asked. "She's just busy," I said defensively. "Busy? Or losing interest?" I frowned. "You don't know her," he sighed. "I don't have to. I know you." I brushed him off, pretending he was wrong. I didn't want to believe him. Weeks later, as she leaned against a wall after class, she looked distracted again. "Hey," I said, waving a hand. "Where did you go just now?" She blinked, then smiled faintly. "Sorry, I spaced out." "Everything okay?" "Yeah, just tired, I guess." "Lena," I said softly. "You can tell me if something's wrong." She laughed, brushing it off. "Ethan, not everything has to be a deep talk." "Maybe not," I replied, forcing a smile. "But, I care." She looked at me for a moment, then nodded. "I know you do." But her eyes said something else entirely. That night, as I lay in bed, staring at the ceiling, her words echoed, "Don't say that, Ethan. People always do." I didn't know it then, but she was warning me. She was sunlight, yes, but sunlight blinds before it burns. and I was already standing too close. "Hey, you haven't replied to my text from yesterday." I said it lightly, trying to sound casual, but the second the words left my mouth, I felt the tension. Lena didn't even look up from her phone. "Sorry," she said finally. "I've just been really busy. Too busy to text me back." I tried to smile, but it came out wrong, half forced, half desperate. She sighed. "Ethan, it's not like that. I just have a lot on my plate." "You always have a lot on your plate," I said, softer this time, "but you still used to find time for me." Her eyes flicked to mine, cold and unreadable. "Can we not do this right now? I'm tired." And just like that, the conversation was over. The next few days were worse. My messages sat there, delivered, seen, unanswered. Calls rang out and went straight to voicemail. Ryan noticed first. He always did. "You look like hell," he said. Sitting across from me at the cafe. "Thanks," I muttered, stirring my untouched coffee. "She ghosting you?" "She's busy." He raised a brow. "Bro, she's not busy. She's slipping away." I looked up sharply. "Don't say that. Then tell me why you're checking your phone every 2 minutes like it's gonna fix something." I didn't answer. I couldn't. Ryan leaned back, sighing. "Ethan, I'm not saying she doesn't care, but people change. Sometimes faster than we expect. I just need to talk to her," I said. "Face to face, then I'll know." Know what? If I'm the problem. 2 days later, I found her outside the lecture hall. "Hey," I said. Stepping in front of her before she could walk away, she blinked, surprised. "Oh hey, you've been hard to reach lately." Her smile was polite, practiced. "Yeah, sorry about that. Just overwhelmed with stuff." "Stuff?" I repeated. "You mean classes?" She hesitated. "Yeah, and other things." "Other things like what?" "Ethan," she said firmly, "you're overthinking." "I'm trying to understand," I said, my voice cracking despite me. "One day, we're talking for hours, and the next, it's like I don't exist." She looked past me, her eyes distant. "You're making this bigger than it is, so I'm crazy now." "I didn't say that." "Then what are you saying?" She looked at me for a long time before answering. "Sometimes, people just need space," I swallowed. "Space from me." She didn't answer. She didn't have to. That night, I sat on my bed, the glow of my phone lighting the dark. Her last message was 2 days old. Just one word. "Okay." I stared at it for an hour before typing. Did I do something wrong? No reply. Then another. "If I did, just tell me. Please. Scene." Nothing. It was like talking to a wall that used to listen. Ryan came by my dorm later. "You still waiting for her to text?" "She's just going through something," I said quietly. "She'll come around." He sat beside me. "You know what sucks? You're always the guy who gives everything, hoping people will give it back." "That's not a flaw." "No," he said, "but it's a gamble. And right now, I think you're losing." I looked away. "You don't know her like I do." He sighed. "Maybe not. But I know you. And I know that when you start justifying pain, it's time to stop calling it love." The next morning, I saw her across the courtyard, laughing with her friends. That same effortless, radiant laugh I used to be part of. I walked toward her before I could change my mind. "Hey, Lena." She turned, smile faltering. "Oh, hey, Ethan. I've been trying to reach you." "Yeah, sorry, I've been busy." I finished for her. "Right." She frowned. "Ethan, don't do this here." "Do what?" "Ask why you've suddenly forgotten I exist." Her voice dropped. "You're making this awkward." "Awkward?" I laughed bitterly. "I'm just trying to understand what changed." She glanced at her friends, then back at me. "Nothing changed." "Then why does it feel like everything did?" She opened her mouth, then closed it. "I just need time, okay?" "To do what?" I asked. "To figure out if you still want me in your life." Her silence was louder than any answer. Finally, she whispered, "You're overthinking." I stared at her for a long moment. "Maybe," I said quietly. "But I used to be your favorite thought." Her eyes flickered just for a second and then she turned away. That night, I walked aimlessly around campus. Every place we'd laughed, sat, talked it, all looked different now. The silence wasn't peaceful anymore. It was heavy, suffocating. I pulled out my phone again, my thumb hovering over her chat. No messages, no calls. Just silence. Ryan's words replayed in my head. She's not busy, bro. She's slipping away. And deep down, I knew he was right. But knowing didn't make it hurt less. It just made the silence louder. Rain had been falling all evening. The kind that blurred headlights and made the city hum softer. I pulled my hood up, clutching my phone as I checked Lena's last message again. Running late, grabbing coffee first. Fine, I muttered. I'll surprise her. The cafe's door chimed when I stepped in, and warmth hit me along with laughter. Her laughter, for a second, I thought I'd imagined it. But then I saw her. She was sitting by the window, light spilling across her hair, smiling in a way I hadn't seen in weeks. And across from her, Dylan, my old classmate. The same Dylan who used to joke about how lucky I was. The same Dylan she once said was just a friend. Their hands brushed, then lingered. I froze. The sound around me faded until all I could hear was my pulse hammering in my ears. Hey man, you good? The barista's voice jolted me. Yeah, I said, forcing a smile. My throat burned. I'm good. I turned back toward them, just as she looked up. Her eyes widened, panic flashing through them. Dylan followed her gaze, his expression stiffening. Ethan, she breathed. Standing up so fast, her chair scraped the floor. I didn't move. Coffee date, huh? It's not with him. My voice cracked. Dylan raised his hand slightly. Hey man, don't make this weird. I laughed. It came out hollow. You're sitting with my girlfriend, and I'm the one making it weird. Ethan, please, Lena whispered. It's not what you think. Then what is it? I asked, my voice trembling, because from here, it looks exactly like what I think. She bit her lip. I just needed someone to talk to. Someone. I said, stepping closer. Or him. Her silence said everything. I stared at Dylan. You couldn't find your own girl, huh? He stood up, jaw tight. Don't do this here. No, let's do this here, I said sharply. Let's talk about how my girlfriend's hand ended up in yours. Ethan, Lena said softly. Please stop. Something in her tone, guilt, pity, fear. I couldn't tell which cut deeper than her words. I took a step back, shaking my head. You know what? I'm done talking, Ethan. She called after me, but I was already out the door. Rain slapping my face like punishment. By the time I got home, my clothes were soaked, my hands shaking. I threw my phone on the couch, then picked it up again. Nothing, no call, no explanation, just silence. I paced the room, staring at the window. Rain streaming down like the sky couldn't hold it in either then. Finally, a notification. I grabbed my phone. I'm sorry. I need time. Time. I stared at the words until they blurred. Time for what? To decide between us. To justify what I saw. I threw the phone across the room. It hit the wall and fell to the floor, buzzing once before going still. Ryan showed up later that night. I didn't even remember texting him. He walked in, took one look at me, and said, So, it's true? I sank into the couch. You heard? He nodded. Dylan's an idiot. Always has been. She picked him, I said, barely above a whisper. She talked to him. They were holding hands. Ryan exhaled slowly. Yeah, he sat beside me, silent for a while. The only sound was rain against glass. Finally, he said, You gonna call her? I laughed, bitter. Call her? For what? She already said she needs time. And you. I need a new heart. He looked at me, eyes softening. Ethan, I saw it, I interrupted. I saw the look on her face when she realized I caught her. It wasn't surprise. It was guilt. She could have just don't, I said, shaking my head. Don't defend her. He didn't argue. Hours passed. I kept replaying the scene, her hand on his, that laugh, that warmth that used to be mine. My chest ached so bad it felt physical, like something inside was cracking open. I whispered to myself. How do you just stop loving someone like that? Ryan sighed. You don't, you just learn to survive it. I looked at him. What if I don't want to? You don't have a choice, man. You think she's sitting there crying over her latte? She's already moved on in her head. That's the part that hurts the most, I said quietly. I was still fighting for her while she was already gone. He leaned back. You gave her everything, Ethan. Some people don't know what to do with that kind of love. She said I was enough, I whispered. Maybe you were, he said. Just not for her. I couldn't sleep that night. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw her across that table, laughing, reaching out. I used to think betrayal came with anger, but this was numbness. Like my heart had short-circuited, unable to process what it had just seen. At 3 a.m., I opened my phone again. Her chat still said last seen recently. I typed, was he worth it? Then deleted it. Instead, I wrote, take all the time you need. I won't wait forever. Then I stared at it until my thumb hovered over send, but I couldn't, because I already knew she wasn't coming back. Morning came grey and quiet. Ryan was gone. My apartment smelled like coffee and regret. I sat there, watching sunlight fight through the rain clouds and whispered, she mocked my effort to change. And I still changed just, not for her. The words hung in the air like a confession, trust, love, hope. They weren't emotions anymore, they were broken glass. I was learning not to step on. I used to think heartbreak was something you feel. Turns out, it's something you become. I lost track of time after that night. Days, nights, they blended into one long blur of nothing. My phone kept buzzing, but I couldn't bring myself to look. Bro. You need to eat, Ryan said, one morning, holding a sandwich in front of me. I'm not hungry. You haven't been hungry in 3 days. Then maybe I'm finally learning how to live without something I don't need. He sighed, setting the plate down. This isn't living, Ethan. This is hiding. I stared at the screen, lighting up beside me. Lena, please, talk to me. Still texting? Ryan asked quietly. Yeah, and you're still not answering. No, he nodded slowly. Good, I didn't reply. My chest felt hollow, like the air I breathed didn't reach my lungs. Later that evening, Ryan came back, tossed his keys on the table, and said, You look like death, thanks, I'm serious, man. You've got to stop torturing yourself. Torturing myself? I muttered. I'm just ... existing. That's the problem. I leaned back against the couch, rubbing my eyes. You know what's funny? She said she needed time, but she still texts me every night, like she's keeping me on a leash. Ryan sat across from me. Then cut it how? Delete her number. I can't block her. I tried. Then what do you want me to say, Ethan? His tone sharpened. That she'll come back. That it'll make sense someday. It won't. I looked at him, voice low. You don't understand. I do, he said, softer now. I've been where you are. You think if you wait long enough, she'll realize what she lost. But people like that, ... they don't look back. They just move on. I swallowed hard. So what do I do? He hesitated. You disappear. Not for her to save yourself. The next morning, I opened her messages again. Hundreds of them. Please answer me. I made a mistake. Can we talk? I still care. Each one was a knife I willingly picked up and pressed against my own skin. I scrolled up to the beginning our first text thread. Lena, hey, stranger. You looked lost today. Me. Maybe I was. Maybe you found me. I stared at those words for a long time. They used to make me smile. Now they felt fake. Ryan walked in again, holding 2 coffees. You're doing it again, huh? What? Reading old messages? Like they'll change if you stare long enough. I didn't answer. He sat beside me, passing me a cup. You know what my mum used to say? What? Don't build shrines out of heartbreak. Burn them, I snorted. Sounds harsh. She was right, he said. You're worshipping memories that don't deserve you. That night, I finally replied to her. Ethan, stop texting me please. Her response came instantly. Lena, I just want to explain, Ethan. There's nothing left to explain. Then, Lena, I'm sorry. I was scared. I stared at that word scared. Of what? Of loving me. Of honesty. Ryan looked over my shoulder. Don't do it. I'm not. I set the phone face down. I'm done. He smiled faintly. Finally, why does it still hurt then? I whispered. Because pain doesn't leave the moment you do. It lingers to make sure you've learned something. For the next few days, I tried. I ate, I slept, I even went for a run. But every street, every cafe window felt haunted. Ryan kept checking in. You good? I'm trying. I'd say that's all that matters. But at night, it all came back, the laughter, her voice, that look in her eyes the night I caught her. I'd lie awake thinking, did she ever really love me? Or did I just love enough for both of us? A week later, Ryan dropped by with pizza and a grin. Guess what? What? I deleted her number from your phone. My eyes widened. You did what? You weren't gonna do it. So I did, Ryan. He raised a hand. Before you punch me, hear me out. I glared. Go on. She doesn't deserve your silence, he said calmly. She deserves your absence. The words hit like a slap. I leaned back, staring at the ceiling. You're an asshole, maybe, but I'm right. I didn't say anything. I just let the silence stretch. After a while, I whispered, absence, huh? Yeah. Let her miss the space you used to fill. Something inside me shifted at that moment, not anger, not grief, but clarity. Maybe you're right, I said quietly. Maybe the best revenge is to stop existing where I was once needed. Ryan smirked. Now you're getting it. That night, I cleaned my phone photos, messages, everything. Every picture I deleted felt like a heartbeat fading out, slow and final. When I was done, I stared at the empty screen. For the first time, it didn't hurt. It just felt quiet. Ryan texted me. Proud of you, I replied. I'm not there yet. But I'm getting close. He sent back a single thumbs up emoji. Typical. I stood by the window, watching city lights flicker against the glass. She erased me like I was nothing, I whispered. So maybe it's time I do the same. For the first time in weeks, I smiled, not because I'd stopped caring, but because I finally cared about myself a little more. It's strange how pain becomes fuel when you stop waiting for answers. Months slipped by, and I buried myself in work. Every design, every pitch, every late-night brainstorm was a rebellion against the person I used to be. Bro, you're obsessed, Ryan said one night, leaning over my desk. Do you even sleep anymore? I sleep enough, I muttered, typing out another email. Define enough. When the work's done, he laughed. Work's never done for you anymore. You're turning into a machine. Maybe that's what I need to be. Ryan frowned. You're allowed to move on without burning yourself out, you know. I'm not burning out, I said quietly. I'm burning away what's left of her. That shut him up for a second. The startup started small, me, 2 interns, and a dream that no one believed in. Now we had clients, offices, and a name that people actually respected. Your presentation for the Morgan project is tomorrow. My assistant Mia reminded me as she walked in. Everything ready? Yes, sir. You'll kill it. I smiled faintly. Don't call me sir. Makes me sound old. She laughed. Fine, boss. After she left, I looked around my office. The walls were covered with sketches, mock-ups, and ideas. My old life felt like another timeline entirely. I hadn't checked Lena's profile in months. I didn't need to. Ryan called later that evening. So, Mr. CEO, still not taking breaks? Breaks are for people who've healed, I said, smirking. And you haven't. I paused. Maybe I have. I just don't trust peace yet. The next morning, the conference buzzed with energy. It was one of those networking events where everyone pretends to be more successful than they are. I stood near the stage, talking to a potential investor when I heard a familiar voice behind me. Ethan. My stomach tightened. I turned around and there she was. Lena. She looked almost the same, hair shorter, eyes softer. wearing the same nervous half-smile she used to give when she wanted to say something but didn't know how. Lena, I said evenly. Didn't expect to see you here. I could say the same, she replied. I didn't know you were this. She gestured at my badge, my suit, the banner with my company's name. You've changed, I smiled. You helped me do it. Her expression faltered, like she didn't know whether to take that as gratitude or blame. We found ourselves sitting across from each other at a cafe inside the venue. It was awkwardly quiet at first. So, she began, stirring her coffee. You really built all this? Yeah, by yourself. Mostly, I had help. Good people, she nodded. I'm proud of you. I leaned back, crossing my arms. Proud? Yes, I mean after everything. I didn't think that I'd get back up. I finished for her. She looked down. I didn't mean it like that. Sure you did. There was no bitterness in my voice. Just truth, she sighed. I was stupid. I thought I was doing what was best for me. But seeing you now maybe, I was just scared of how much you cared. I tilted my head. Scared of love. Scared of failing it, she whispered. I stared at her for a long moment. You did fail it. Her eyes watered slightly, but she nodded. I know. Ryan texted me, mid-conversation. You okay? Need rescue? I replied, no. This is the closure I didn't know I wanted. Lena noticed me smiling faintly. You look peaceful. I am. Do you ever think about us? She asked. Sometimes, I admitted. But not the way you think. I don't miss what we had. I just remember who I was back then, and how far I've come since. She let out a shaky breath. You really did change. Yeah, I said, standing up. You should try it sometime. Her lips parted slightly, like she wanted to stop me, but I didn't wait. Outside, Ryan spotted me immediately. You saw her, didn't you? Yeah, and she said she was proud. He grinned. Oof, that must have been awkward. Not really, I said. It was peaceful. Ryan nodded slowly. You know, I didn't think I'd see the day when you'd talk about her without breaking something. Me neither, so what now? I moved forward. The weeks that followed felt lighter. Work thrived. My team grew. Investors started calling me instead of the other way around. During a lunch meeting, Mia looked at me curiously. You seem different lately. Different how? Lighter. Like something's been lifted off your shoulders. I smiled. Maybe it has, she hesitated. Can I ask what changed? I stopped chasing ghosts. One evening, I got an email from Lena. Just a single line. You really did become someone incredible. I stared at it for a while before hitting delete. No anger, no sadness. Just calm acceptance. Ryan called later that night. So, any lingering ghosts? None, I said. Only lessons. Good. You earned this peace, man. Maybe. But peace isn't earned, it's chosen. He laughed. Listen to you, sounding like a monk. Maybe I just got tired of bleeding over memories. Ryan chuckled. Well, whatever you're doing, it's working. Keep going. Yeah, I murmured. I think I will. That night, I stood by my office window. City lights, shimmering below. I thought about the cafe, her eyes, her words. You helped me do it. She thought I meant it as forgiveness. Maybe part of me did. But deep down, it was something else, an acknowledgement that her betrayal had been the push I needed to become someone better. For the first time in a long time, I didn't feel broken or bitter. Just free. The message came late at night. Can we talk? I stared at it for a full minute before locking my phone again. But curiosity, it's a stubborn thing. By morning, I'd already typed, 1 hour. Usual cafe, when I walked in, she was already there. Same table, same nervous hands around the same cup of coffee. Only her eyes were different, tired, red, searching. Thanks for coming, she whispered. I almost didn't, I said, sitting down. But I guess I wanted to hear what excuse you'd come up with. She flinched. It's not an excuse. It's the truth. Go on then. She looked down, voice shaking. Dylan and I, it wasn't what I thought. I thought he understood me, but he just wanted someone to feed his ego. It ended fast, and messy. Must have been hard, I said flatly. Her lip trembled. You sound cold. I learned from the best. She exhaled, eyes glistening. I deserve that. I leaned back, watching her. You said you wanted to talk. So talk. I miss you, she said suddenly, almost blurting it out. Every day, I wake up and I think about how stupid I was. You were good to me. Too good. I didn't respond. Just the hum of the espresso machine filled the silence. Say something, she pleaded. Please, what do you want me to say? I asked. That I forgive you? That I'm still waiting. No, she whispered. Just that you still feel something. I did, I said quietly. For a long time, but feelings die when you keep stabbing them. Her hands covered her face. I know, I hurt you. I know that, but I thought I needed to find myself, and I lost everything instead. You didn't lose everything, I said. You just lost the one person who never made you prove your worth. She looked up, mascara smudged. I was scared. You were always so sure, so kind, it terrified me. I didn't think I deserved it. You didn't, I replied, before I could stop myself. The words hung heavy, sharp. She blinked, tears spilling. You've changed. Yeah, I said. Turns out, pain is a great teacher. Do you hate me? She asked. I shook my head. No. That would mean you still mattered. She went silent, staring at the table. I don't expect you to come back, I wanted you to know, I'm sorry. Sorry doesn't fix things, I said softly. It just reminds me, they're broken. I deserve that too, she whispered. I sighed. You deserve to heal, Lena, but not with me. Her voice cracked. Can we at least be? No, she froze. Why not? Because friendship isn't a consolation prize, I said. You ignored my texts for weeks, remember? Now I'm just returning the favor. Her mouth opened, but no words came. I stood, placing a few bills on the table. You'll be okay, I said, more to myself than to her. She looked up, tears shining like glass. You really don't feel anything anymore. I paused at the edge of the table, meeting her eyes. Nothing. And that's the best thing that's ever happened to me. When I stepped outside, the air felt lighter. The sky was bruised with sunset, but somehow it didn't look sad anymore. My phone buzzed once in my pocket, then went silent. For the first time in months, I didn't check who it was. I just walked, no destination, no ache, just quiet. And in that quiet, I realized something. Freedom doesn't always come from forgiving others. Sometimes, it comes from forgiving yourself for staying too long. I smiled to myself, hands in my pockets, and whispered, goodbye. Lena. The weight that once suffocated me finally lifted. Ryan slid into the chair across from me, a grin playing at the corners of his mouth. You're not gonna believe this, he said, stirring his coffee like he was trying to build suspense. I raised an eyebrow. Try me. Dylan dumped Lena. For someone new. Some influencer girl. Apparently, I leaned back, the words settling in without weight. Huh, that's all you've got. He laughed. Come on, man. This is poetic justice. Karma's working overtime. I looked out the cafe window, watching rain streak down the glass. Maybe. Or maybe it's just life doing what it does. Ryan frowned. You're telling me you don't feel even a little satisfaction? I thought I would, I admitted. I used to imagine this moment, her broken, me watching from a distance. But now, I don't feel anything. He studied me. That's weirdly mature. Or depressing. Can't tell which. Maybe both. He chuckled. Still, you've got two admits, a nice twist. She cheats, gets cheated on. She breaks your heart, and the world breaks hers. I sighed. You think pain cancels pain? It doesn't, it just multiplies it. Ryan leaned forward, his tone softening. So what now? You gonna reach out, say something? No, I said. There's nothing left to say. She made her choices, and I made mine. Cold, he muttered. Peaceful, I corrected. He grinned. You're starting to sound like a monk. Maybe I am. Monks don't text their exes. Ryan laughed, then grew serious. You really moved on, huh? I didn't move on, I said. I just stopped standing still. He nodded slowly, understanding flickering in his eyes. You know, I used to think revenge was about balance. But, watching you, I think it's more about release. Exactly. I smiled faintly. Letting go hurts less than holding a grudge. He raised his cup. 2. Letting go. I clinked mine against his. 2. Peace. We sat in silence for a while, the low hum of the cafe filling the gaps between breaths. The same cafe where I'd once seen Lena with Dylan. The same table. But everything felt different, now lighter, cleaner. Like the ghosts had finally stopped haunting me. Ryan checked his phone. You ever wonder what she's doing now? No, I said. But you're about to tell me anyway. He smirked. She's trying to rebuild her career, lost some clients after the breakup. People talk, you know, they always do, I said. But she survived. You think so? She's stronger than she looks. Just, not in the right ways. He nodded thoughtfully. You're not angry anymore. No, I said. I'm free. He tilted his head. That's your revenge, isn't it? I smiled. It's not revenge. It's recovery. Ryan leaned back. Damn, you've grown up, man. A few months ago, you'd have been planning poetic Instagram captions about karma. I laughed, the sound surprising, even me. Guess heartbreak teaches you better writing material. He grinned. Or worse, jokes touche. The door chimed as a couple walked in laughing, holding hands, the way Lena and I once did. For a moment, something flickered inside me. Not pain, not nostalgia, just recognition of what used to be. Ryan noticed my glance. You okay? Yeah, I said quietly, just remembering how loud life used to be. He smiled knowingly. And now? Now, it's peaceful. Ryan finished his drink and stood. You coming? In a minute, he patted my shoulder. Don't stay too long in memory lane, philosopher. I smiled. I won't. He left. The bell above the door jingling softly. I sat there, tracing the rim of my cup, watching the world blur through the glass. The rain had stopped. The streetlights reflected in shallow puddles, soft and golden. This was the same spot where I'd once felt my world collapse. I remembered the way my chest had tightened, the way her laugh had cut through me. Now, the silence felt like closure. My phone buzzed on the table, a message from an unknown number. Just 3 words. I'm not okay. I stared at it for a few seconds, then turned the screen face down. Some stories didn't need sequels. I finished my coffee, stood, and stepped outside. The air was cool, almost sweet. As I walked away, I realized something I'd missed for years. Real revenge isn't watching someone fall, it's rising. So high that you no longer care who's still crawling. And for the first time, that thought didn't feel bitter. It felt like peace. The ballroom buzzed with quiet conversation, soft piano music threading through the air. I adjusted my tie, pretending to focus on the presentation slides flashing across the screen. It was Dylan's company's charity, Galaval, the places fate could have chosen. It chose this. Ryan nudged me. You sure you're okay being here? I'm fine, I said. It's just an event. He gave me a skeptical look. Right. And I'm the president. I smirked. Relax. I'm not here for ghosts. But I saw her before he could reply. Lena. Standing near the back, her posture smaller, her presence quieter. No makeup, no sparkling laughter, no crowd orbiting her. Just lineal, fragile, human. Ryan followed my gaze. You want me to know? I said softly. This one's mine. I walked toward her. Each step felt like a slow exhale of years I didn't know I'd been holding in. She noticed me halfway there, froze for a moment, then smiled faintly, hesitant, unsure. Ethan, she breathed, when I stopped in front of her. Lena. I nodded, my voice steady. I didn't think you'd come. I didn't plan to, I admitted, but life's got a strange sense of humor. She gave a small, sad laugh. Yeah, it does. Silence settled between us, awkward, then gentle. Like two people standing at the edge of something that used to matter. You really did change, she said finally. You look different, lighter, I guess. Peace looks good on me. Her lips twitched. I'm glad. You deserve that. I tilted my head slightly. You look different too. She laughed softly. That's polite for saying I look exhausted. I wasn't going to say it. But you thought it. She teased weakly. Maybe, I admitted. Her eyes searched mine. Do you hate me? The question hung heavy in the air. I took a slow breath. No, I did. For a while. But hate's just another kind of leash. She swallowed hard. I was scared, you know. I thought I needed something more. Exciting, maybe freer. But I ended up losing myself instead. I know, I said quietly. And I lost myself trying to keep you. She nodded, tears glinting but not falling. I hurt you. Yeah, I said simply. But you also taught me who I am without you. I don't know if that makes me feel better or worse. It's not supposed to make you feel anything, I said. It's just the truth. She smiled faintly. You always did have a way with words. Pain's a good teacher, I replied. A long pause followed. The room around us faded into background noise, the laughter, the clinking glasses, the soft music. We stood in our own quiet bubble. Two people untangling years of what-ifs. I saw your interview last month, she said suddenly. About your company. You said, sometimes loss gives you direction. That line. It stuck with me. I smiled. It stuck with me too. She looked down, twisting her fingers together. I'm happy for you, Ethan. Really, you've built something beautiful. I had to, I said. Otherwise, I'd still be standing in the ruins. She inhaled shakily. Do you ever think of us? Only when I need to remember how far I've come. Her smile faltered. Fair enough. We stood there for a while longer, the distance between us no longer painful, just final. I should go, she said. Her voice barely above a whisper. Yeah, I said. You should. She took a step back, then stopped. Thank you. For not hating me. Thank you, I replied, for setting me free. She blinked, surprised. That's not what I meant to do. I know, I said softly, but you did anyway. She smiled, a fragile, honest smile. Goodbye, Ethan. Goodbye, Lena. I turned and walked toward the exit. The music swelled behind me. A slow, hopeful melody. For the first time in years, I didn't look back. Outside, the night air was cool, almost cleansing. I loosened my tie, looked up at the stars, and exhaled everything that had ever hurt. Forgiveness wasn't about her. It was about me, about leaving the weight behind. The past couldn't touch me anymore. She once said she needed space. I gave her the whole universe. And in the process, I found mine. The city stretched beneath me like a sea of lights, pulsing and alive. The wind was cool on my face, the kind that clears your head without asking permission. I leaned back on the edge of the rooftop, watching the last strip of sunset fade behind the buildings. Ryan handed me a can of soda. You're quiet tonight, he said. I've learned it's better that way, I replied, cracking the can open. Silence makes more sense than words sometimes. He chuckled softly. Deep. You've been reading those motivational quotes again. I smiled. No, just life. We sat in easy quiet for a while, the hum of the city below filling the spaces between us. Ryan finally broke it. You ever think about her? I stared at the horizon. Only to thank her. He raised a brow. Thank her. For what, wrecking you? For setting me free, I said simply. If she hadn't walked away, I'd still be stuck trying to prove I was enough. Ryan took a sip and shook his head. You sound like some enlightened monk now. I used to sound like a broken record, I said. I kept replaying everything, what I said, what she did, how it ended. But one day I realized. She was just a chapter, not the whole book. Ryan nodded slowly. That's growth, man. Pain with purpose. Pain with clarity, I corrected. I thought love was about holding on. Turns out, it's about knowing when to let go. He leaned forward, elbows on his knees. Do you ever wish it went differently? I thought for a long moment before answering. No, I used to, but not anymore. I used to imagine what I'd say if I saw her again. But now, there's nothing left to say. Ryan exhaled. She reached out again last week, didn't she? I looked at him, surprised. How'd you know? You've got that look, the calm after thunderstorm look, he said. So, what did she want? She said she was happy for me, I said quietly. That she saw my success online, and she's proud. Ryan laughed bitterly. Proud? That's rich. Yeah, I said. But I didn't feel angry. Not anymore. I just told her, thank you. You were the lesson I needed. He blinked. You actually said that? Word for word. Ryan laughed again, softer this time. Man, if someone said that to me, I'd need therapy. I grinned. Maybe she does, but that's not my story anymore. We both went silent again, the kind that feels like peace, not awkwardness. The city lights shimmered below, like tiny promises of everything still waiting. You ever miss who you were back then? He asked after a while. No, I said. That version of me lived for her approval. He texted too much, forgave too quickly, broke two eyes. I had to let him go too. Ryan nodded, eyes on the skyline. You're different now. I'm lighter, I said. I don't carry people who dropped me. I just wish them well and keep walking. That's not easy, he said. It wasn't, I replied. But peace isn't something you find, it's something you build. Every day I stopped checking her page. Every time I chose work over wondering, I built a little more of it. He smiled. You really made it out of the storm, huh? I didn't just make it out, I said. I learned how to dance in the rain. Ryan chuckled. You're full of quotes tonight. Maybe, I said, smiling faintly. But they're mine now. The last of the daylight slipped away, leaving only the deep glow of the city. I leaned back, arms resting behind me, and let the quiet sink in. She said she needed space. I whispered, almost to myself. Ryan turned to look at me. What? I smiled. I gave her the whole universe. He laughed softly, shaking his head. That's poetic, man. It's freedom, I said. And I meant it. For the first time in years, my heart didn't ache. It just beat steady.com, alive. The skyline wasn't a reminder of what I lost anymore. It was a reflection of everything I'd gained. The air felt cleaner, my chest lighter. Somewhere below, life went on, indifferent and beautiful. I took a deep breath, let it all go, and whispered, I'm free.